You know what I think? If a former Hollywood actor, if a former reality show host can become the president of the United States, if a former HR manager at Unilever can become the prime minister of the Netherlands, I think anything is possible. I've got to say, if they can do it with their challenges and their limitations, our situations, however different as they are, so it doesn't dictate that if you're a teacher, you always need to be a teacher. If you're in marketing, you always have to be in marketing. Not in 2022, not beyond. And if you want to learn how to successfully transition from one career to the other, you are in the right place. Keep watching. Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonal Bahl, former HR director and career strategist. I'm so happy you're here. In this channel, we talk about how to give you that competitive edge to land that dream role, get promoted, and lead a richer, happier, and more purposeful life. If that is what you're about, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you know when I'm live, when I release new videos. I want you to be the first to know. Now let's talk about career change. I think I want to obviously keep this video as practical as possible, but there's some thinking before we make these changes. We don't just jump and then think later. I want you to think before you decide, I want to do this or I want to do that. Why is that? What's the why? What's the deep why? Is it because you're expected to do it, or is it because something is calling you from within? I think it matters to some extent. I think the more invested you are in this decision, for example, let's say, you decide tomorrow, I think it's time to get married. I'm 33 years old. My parents think it's the right time. I'm going to go look for a girl, versus marrying for other reasons like love. When the intention is different, I think the strength behind that intention is different as well. And it helps you to stay motivated longer, and it's more sustainable. So why do you want to change careers? Are you running away from the career you have, or are you running towards a career you want? Good to know which is which. It's not like one is better. Yeah, it is a little bit better to know that you're running towards something, but if you're running away, acknowledge that, because you don't want fear to be in the background during your decision-making process. I think any decision which has fear in the background doesn't necessarily end well. Now, one of the reasons we don't change careers is because we see this path in front of us, and the path is full of barriers. Let's talk about those barriers. Let's open them up a little bit, shall we? The first one is skills. I don't have the skills it takes. We will be talking about skills today. The second one is gender. I don't see women doing this. I don't see too many men in this space. Times are changing, my friend. We live in a world where women are fighter pilots, where men are working in creche and daycare. Things are changing. So get more open-minded to this fact. The third barrier we have is, I'm too old, I'm too young. Usually it tends to be in the direction of I'm too old, right? One thing you cannot change, you can't change your age. So I'm not going to say, move on. No, it is a barrier in your head. I want you to acknowledge it. But what can you do about it? Look around you, whether it's in your immediate circle or even online or on the internet or celebrities or Hollywood or Bollywood, whatever. Look for examples of people who've made it, who've been successful in spite of or because of their age. And they are at a similar age level that you have. And they're like, what is it that made them special? Why did they do it? And what can you take away from them? This is a great opportunity to learn. And when I have thought about this, reading books from people I admire, right? Reading their books, their memoirs, it has personally helped me. Age in itself is a huge topic. We could talk about it like pretty much throughout this video, and I could do like a whole workshop on it. We don't have that time today, but I want to acknowledge it because it is a big barrier, particularly up here. The fourth barrier is lack of a certain education. And this one does hold water. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a teacher, you want to be a pilot, you want to be an engineer, you do need a certain license to operate. If you don't have that, you can't just suddenly change careers, except for those types of professions, right? If you're in HR, you want to be in marketing. You're in branding, you want to work in project management. Where does it say that you need a degree, you need a diploma, you need those qualifications? I haven't seen any research to this effect. So the point is, education is not a barrier, but in our mind, it is definitely perceived as a barrier. And the last barrier is the lack of network. I want to get into this field. I want to get into website development, or I want to get into NFTs. I think I could do a brilliant job there. I want to get into social media management. I don't know anybody doing that. So why bother? That is one we will be talking about in detail today as well. So the approach I have for you is in my classic acronym format. I call this my vitamin approach. And it's all about giving your career that extra boost. Vitamin, boost, get it? Get it? Okay, let's move on. The first two things I want to talk about are your skills. The I in vitamin stands for inventory. Basically, what I want you to do is brain dump, write down every single skill that you have today. What is a skill? It's basically the ability to do a task well, right? So go ahead, don't overthink it. Basically, write down what you think are your top skills on a blank sheet of paper. Done it? Yes? Good. Now, the next thing you want to do is look at the roles that you're looking for, right? Look at those job vacancies, look at those job descriptions. See what are the skills that they need. Map that with what you have today. So your current skills that you did, that brain dumping in point number 1, look at what they need. And now start mapping what do they want versus what do you have. So let's get concrete here, because I think we all learn a little bit more clearly with a solid example. So let's say you are in project management today and you want to get into a role in the branding department. All right. So when you're a project manager, typically you have excellent internal communication skills, problem solving, organizational skills, and interpersonal skills. Now, when you look at the role for a branding manager, what are they looking for? Classically, they need strong writing skills, collaboration skills, budget management, analytical skills. Now, if you do a little bit of mapping, you're like, okay, problem solving is a little bit like analytical, internal communication, strong writing. It may not be 100% match, but what is rarely, it's rarely 100% match, right? So with communication and budget and the people side of things, you're like, okay, you know what? Let me also showcase stories and evidence in each of these transferable skills. So I'm not just blowing hot air, right? But I'm actually showing proof that I can do this. So this will help you particularly with point number 3 in the vitamin approach, the M, which is the messaging. And the messaging you want is, I have a role today. I'm pretty fantastic at it. And I am interested in your role. And I know I'll be pretty amazing there. That's the messaging you want to give. Now, how can you do that before you get a chance to even interview with people? You want to have a very clear note, like some people call it a covering letter, call it whatever you want, but you're doing this more for you, not so much for others, and showing why you're looking for a change and how are you an interesting person for them to meet. Do that for yourself, because when you have that clarity and you believe in yourself, it's a lot easier to make others believe that you're the right candidate as well. The next point is a little bit woo. It's a little bit so just bear with me here. It's called imagine. And for this particular one, it helps a little bit if you close your eyes. If you don't want to close them, that's absolutely fine, no problem. But I think it just goes deeper and we let our imagination fly. Anyway, now what we want to do is imagine. Imagine what a successful person looks like who's doing the kind of role that you want to do. Today, what do they look like today, right? Where do they work? What kind of books do they read? What kind of podcast do they listen to? What kind of YouTube channels and videos are they watching? What kind of blogs are they reading to keep up to date? What kind of networking events do they go to? And also, it's like, how are they? Are they more emotional? Are they a bit more rational? Get to know them a little bit. This is not an exercise you do once and it's finished. It's something that you do for some time till you can dial down and understand this. You need to understand that these people are maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. That's it. And I hope that makes you feel less intimidated, that the roles that you're looking for are not that out of reach. If they can do it, you can most definitely make that switch as well. The N in the vitamin approach is networking. And I know networking is a big one and it trips up a lot of us, right? So, here, what I want you to keep in mind is it's so important to talk to very interesting people, people you know, people you don't know. How do you reach out to them? What do you say? If you need any help with that and you want to dig a little deeper, check out this email guide that I have, and I'll put it in the description box as well, where it helps you to take out the guesswork and gets into details of what do you write, how do you write without looking desperate, without looking like you're bothering anyone or anything like that. But networking is so important, right? Networking, whether you call it networking, you call it outreach, you call it making new friends, whatever. You want to be able to do this very, very well for 3 specific reasons. You want to be doing introductory, exploratory, and discovery conversations. All of these are important. Hey, I know this friend who works at Unilever. I think you should meet him. Introductory conversation. Exploratory conversation. You're trying to get to know, is this company right for me or not? Discovery. Oh, completely brand new. I want to learn about this role. The point is, it might happen that with time you realize, actually, when you ask questions like, tell me about your day today, what does it look like? Can I have 15 minutes of your time? And what would be your advice to someone in my situation today? And you realize, actually, I don't want to do that. The thing I thought I really want to do, I don't want to do that. You just saved yourself some time, energy, money, heartache. So it's good to do that regularly. And it also helps you to affirm certain decisions that actually, I'm still completely convinced I'm on the right path. And I think that's important. The A in the vitamin approach is the attitude. Attitude is everything. Your attitude is what glues everything together especially during hard times. There's 2 things I want to mention in attitude. The first one is this famous quote we all know by Jim Rohn: you are the sum of 5 people you spend most amount of time with. You want to figure out who these 5 people are in your day-to-day life. Are they feeding you with any negativity at all? Because if they are, you need to find a way to distance yourself from their message. You may not be able to distance from them physically. Maybe you live in the same house. But that is important, because if you keep hearing, you can't do it, you can't do it, you will be convinced that you can't do it, and then you're not even going to try, right? The second thing I want you to remember when it comes to attitude is a mindset of abundance versus a mindset of scarcity. A scarcity mindset tells you, hey, he's done it. That means there's less jobs for the rest of us. Shucks, even I wanted to work in Shell, he's working in Shell. No, that's a mindset of scarcity. Abundance says, if he's done it, I can do it too. And scarcity will also tell you, your friends are not really your friends. They're not going to help you out. Abundance says, no, it's fine. I have friends who love me and we will find a way to make it work together. I know they'll help me out. So that is so important, because if you don't see that from an abundance point of view, that there's enough goodness to go around for all of us, and it's not a zero-sum game, it's going to continuously feel like he wins and I loses. And that is not the thinking that will help you. Finally, the V in the vitamin approach is volunteering. Volunteering is a gift that keeps on giving. Oh my God, that is such a true statement. I want to give you my own example. When I moved to Chile way back, I had absolutely no work experience. I had very little language skills, and I was trying to break in to the corporate world. It was hard, but one of the things I did with the time that I had was I was teaching English, which had nothing to do with corporate roles that I wanted in human resources. But with the time that I had after teaching English, I would volunteer in a home of little girls. I would help them with their homework. I would help them to write letters to their sponsors. It really helped with my level of Spanish, which went from here up till here, so much so that when PwC came in calling, I was comfortable talking to them in Spanish. I was having the entire interview, the negotiation, the entire conversations were in Spanish. And I would not have reached that level of Spanish if it hadn't been for volunteering. So volunteering gives you a sense of purpose. It makes you feel good, particularly when you think something cannot be done, and it's free training. If you think you're lacking certain skills, when you want to go from career A to career B, volunteering will help you to do that. So look for opportunities around you where you can use certain skills that you don't have today, but you're learning, and how can you put them into practice? They will also help you on your LinkedIn profile. And volunteering is not goody goody, makes you feel good. There's practical evidence in it. So 81% of LinkedIn users have listed volunteer experience on their profile. And there's a survey that was done a few years ago which showed that 41% of hiring managers on LinkedIn value volunteer experience at the same level as paid experience. Isn't that amazing? So I hope this helps you. The vitamin approach is all about breaking what you think is a mountain called career change, career transition, and approaching it step by step, brick by brick, bird by bird. If you watched till the very end and you found this video useful, definitely give me a thumbs up. Put in the comments what your favorite takeaway was, and write in the comments, change is good. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep dreaming, keep believing, keep supercharging. You got this.